Welcome to our video learning session on Operations Research or OR. I am Dr. Emiman MC, Assistant Professor from Department of Mathematics, Kumaraguru College of Liberal Arts and Science. In this session, we explore how operations research applies mathematical models, statistical analysis and optimization techniques to aid in decision making for complex systems and problems. The goal of OR is to find the most efficient solutions to problems involving resource allocation, scheduling, risk management, and process optimization by using tools like linear programming, simulation, and network analysis. Through these methods, OR helps organizations make data-driven, optimized choice, reducing costs, and improvising the performances. The contents which we are going to cover in the visual learning sessions are history and definitions of OR, features and phases of OR, advantages and limitations of OR. The history of operations research, which is widely recognized as having emerged as a distinct discipline during World War II, driven by the urgent need to manage limited resources effectively. However, certain OR models and techniques trace back even further to World War I. Notably, Thomas Edison attempted to use a tactical game board to find solutions for reducing shipping losses caused by enemy submarines aiming to test strategies without risking ships in actual combat conditions. About the same time, A.K. Erlong, a Danish engineer, carried out equipment to study the fluctuations in demand for telephone facilities in using automatic dialing equipment. Since World War II involved strategic and tactical problems that were highly complicated, groups of individuals who were collectively considered specialists in mathematics, economics, statistics and probability theory, engineering and physical science were formed as a special units within the armed forces in order to deal with strategic and tactical problems of various military operations. They were first formed by the British Air Force and later the American Armed Forces formed the similar groups. One of the groups in Britain came to be known as Blackett Circus under the leadership of Professor P.M.S. Blackett, which was attached to the Radar Operational Research Unit. During 1950s, there was a substantial progress in the application of OR techniques for civilian problems along with the professional development. In India, during the same period, Professor R.S. Verma set up an OR team at Defense Science Laboratory for solving problems of store purchase and planning. In 1953, Professor P.C. Mahalanobis established an OR team in the Indian Statistical Institute, Kolkata, for solving problems related to nation planning and survey. In 1964, India, along with Japan, became a member of International Federation of Operation Research with its headquarters in London. Definition of OR is quoted as, operations research is the application of the methods of science to complex problems in the direction and management of the large system of men, machines, material and money in the industry, business, government and defense. The distinctive approach is to develop a scientific model of system incorporating measurements of factors such as chance and risks with which to be predict and compare the outcomes of alternative decisions, strategies or controls. The purpose is to help management in determining its policy and action scientifically. It was stated by Operational Research Society, UK. Similarly, various individuals have provided definitions of operations research, each reflecting their unique perspective. Features of operation research approach. We are going to see 4 different approaches in this section. First one, interdisciplinary approach. For solving any managerial decision problem, often an interdisciplinary teamwork is essential. This is because while attempting to solve complex management problem, one person may not have the complete knowledge of all its aspects such as economic, social, political, psychological, engineering, etc. Hence, a team of individuals specializing in various functional areas of a management should be organized. Second is scientific approach. Scientific method consists of observing and defining a problem, formulating and testing the hypothesis and analyzing the results. Third approach is holistic approach. While arriving at a decision, an operations research team examines the relative importance of all constructive and multiple objective. It also examines the validity of clients of various departments of the organization from the perspective of its implication to the whole organization. Final approach is object-oriented approach. An operations research approach seeks to obtain optimal solution to the problem under analysis. For this, a measure of desirability is defined on objective of the organization. A measure of desirability, so defined, is then used to compare alternative courses of action with respect to their possible outcomes. Next, we are going to see phases of OR. It has three phases, which are judgment, research, and action phase. The first phase is judgment phase. In this phase, the following set of actions has to be done. We have to identify the real life problem, then the selection of appropriate objective, and the values of various variables related to this objective should be drawn. Next is application of appropriate scale of measurement, that is, whether the objective is to find the liquid's maximum capacity in a container. Then the measurement should be in milliliter or liter cube. The formulation of suitable model of the problem and abstraction of the essential information also takes place in this phase. The next phase is research phase. This is the largest and longest phase amongst the all phases. This phase includes observation and data collection, formulation of hypothesis and model, observation and experimentation to the test hypothesis. Analysis of available information and verification of the hypothesis using pre-established measures of desirability also has to be done in this phase. Prediction of various results from the hypothesis, generalization of the results, and consideration of alternative methods should also be done in this exact phase. The next phase is action phase. This is the execution phase, where this phase consists of making recommendations for implementing the decisions. The individual must be aware of the environment in which the problem occurred, be aware of the objective of assumptions behind the problem, and required omissions of the model. We'll discuss some of the questions based on the learning, which gives you a clear idea. Let us consider two different scenarios for the application part. First one, a school district wants to understand why students' test score have been declining. They started to analyzing test data, interviewing the teachers, and reviewing study materials. What phase does this represent? We are having the options as judgment, research, action, and none of the above. So the answer is research phase. Next situation, a company is considering two suppliers for a critical part, each with different prices and delivery speeds. The manager is evaluating which supplier offers the best balance of cost and reliability. Which phase does this situation represent? Again, we are having four options: judgment, research, action, and none of the above. So we clearly know that the answer is judgment phase. Advantages of OR. It has two advantages: structured approach on problem solving and critical approach on problem solving. In structured approach, a substantial amount of time and effort can be saved in developing and solving OR models if a logical and costing approach is followed. This implies the decision maker has to be careful while defining variables available of resources and functional relationships among the variables in objective function and constraints. In critical approach, the decision maker will come to understand various components of the problem, accordingly select a mathematical model for solving the given problem. He'll become aware of the explicit and implicit assumption and limitations of such models. Limitations of OR. The solution to a problem is often derived by simplifying assumptions. Consequently, such solutions are not optimal. Secondly, at one point, models may not represent the realistic solutions and situations in which decisions are made. And also, often the decision maker is not fully aware of the limitations of the model. Let us see a question as a reflection spot. Which of the following is a common limitation of operations research or OR when applied to a real world situation? Options are: OR models can only be applied in large organizations. OR models require significant financial investment which limits to their use in small business. OR models often struggle to incorporate qualitative human-created factors like employee morale and customer satisfaction. OR techniques are often ineffective in solving optimization problems involving inventory and supply chain management? The answer is option 3. As we wrap up, I hope you now have a clear understanding of operations research, its origin, its purpose, and its wide-reaching application. OR is a powerful tool for solving complex problems and making informed, data-driven decisions across numerous fields. Thanks for joining us in the exploration of OR. Keep these concepts in mind as you continue to learn and see how they can be applied to create effective solutions in the real world. Thank you.